In 2019 HMRC win £450 million tax avoidance scheme case, Celtic chief Peter Lawwell among club figures involved in massive £434 million tax dodge. Ex-Celtic chief executive, along with several former players and managers, invested in a number of controversial film partnerships set up by London firm Ingenious. HM Revenue and Customs have branded the Limited Liability Partnership, LLP, schemes as sophisticated tax avoidance. And they have issued multi-million-pound bills to hundreds of Ingenious clients all over the UK after winning a tax tribunal victory. The LLPs allowed members to offset losses made on film investments against their tax liabilities for other income. Company's house records show Peter Lawwell and former manager Martin O'Neill became members of Ingenious's Inside Track 3 LLP in 2004. Ex-manager and player Neil Lennon was a member of Ingenious Film Partners 2 LLP between 2006 and 2011. Former Celtic and star Gary Caldwell is an investor in Inside Track 3 LLP and Inside Track 2 LLP, while he resigned from Ingenious Film Partners LLP in 2010. The Parkhead Club's former finance director Eric Riley and Peter Lawwell also a member of Inside Track 3 LLP. Momo Silla meanwhile joined up with Inside Track 1 LLP and Ingenious Film Partners LLP. Ingenious have admitted all of the above partnerships were covered by the tax tribunal ruling. While declining to comment on specific cases, an HMRC spokesman said, HMRC continue to challenge schemes that try to exploit tax reliefs. Avoidance does not pay. Most schemes simply don't work and users end up having to pay all the tax due plus interest. Many will be worse off than if they had just paid the right tax up front. Ex-Celtic star Craig Bellamy also joined schemes linked to Ingenious in his time at Parkhead such as Charwell Films LLP and Orwell Films LLP. All of the LLPs have their registered headquarters at 15 Golden Square in London, the same address as the main Ingenious group. A number of other former Celtic players, Bobby Petter, Chris Sutton, John Hartson, Stan Varga, Alan Thompson and Johan Mjalby, were also involved in other LLP tax avoidance schemes. Petter was a member of the Film Development Partnership 11 LLP, while Chris Sutton joined WRP Dry Vac LLP. Stan Varga was involved with the Gala Film Partners LLP, Invotech 3 LLP, Invotech 6 LLP, and the Invicta Film Partnership No. 23 LLP. Alan Thompson was a director of 3 schemes and Mjalby 2. John Hartson was a director of the Mamjam Technology Platform Partnership LLP, and the Case Director Technology Partnership LLP, along with Neil Lennon in 2012. John Hartson and Neil Lennon went to court to try to get money back after the schemes failed and the taxman cracked down. Lennon had put £200,000 into the partnerships in 2003 after being told it would save him almost £500,000 in income tax. But he only got £80,000 of his cash back after the Inland Revenue said the schemes were against tax rules, and are tax avoidance schemes and the investments failed. Mr. Justice Hamblin rejected the case for compensation, and ruled there were obvious risks in aggressive tax schemes that would allow members to almost immediately double their money. John Hartson was an integral part of Celtic's success under Martin O'Neill's Celtic star Darren Jackson was made bankrupt with debts of £270,000. The majority of the cash was owed to the taxman and related to investments in a film production scheme. But the company claimed £1.6 billion in losses and individuals who were partners in LLPs were then lawfully able to write off losses against other income. However, following the tax tribunal ruling, investors have been hit with bills totaling £434 million in unpaid tax, plus interest and legal fees. The total tax relief claimed by Ingenious investors was £620 million. Aberdeen chairman Stuart Milne, former St Mirren caretaker boss Gary Teale and ex-Scotland captain are being probed over investments in schemes including Inside Track Productions, Ingenious Film Partners 2 and Ingenious Games LLP. Legislation put in place by former Chancellor George Osborne has allowed HMRC to re-examine the legality of more than 1,000 schemes used by the rich and famous. Bobby Petter, John Hartson, Chris Sutton, Alan Thompson, Martin O'Neill, Gary Caldwell, Stan Varga, Craig Bellamy have stated they were advised to join LLP tax avoidance schemes by Celtic Football Club's finance director Eric Riley as it would save them hundreds of thousands in tax. Celtic finance director Eric Riley was also involved in the massive tax dodge. I think we all know now why Peter Lawwell left Celtic Football Club. After years of banging on about Rangers' tax avoidance schemes, and wanting Rangers stripped of titles for using tax avoidance schemes, the dirty rat was using tax avoidance schemes himself, as well as 16 ex-Celtic players and managers, which Lawwell knew they were all using tax avoidance schemes. Not to mention the fact Celtic owner Dermot Desmond has been involved in tax avoidance and tax evasion numerous times and used offshore accounts for several of his companies to launder money and to evade tax in numerous occasions, and is currently under investigation again for money laundering and tax evasion. The Celtic Football and Athletic Club was using charitable status for tax exemptions and relief for over 100 years, then using the money saved to sign players. They are and always have been the biggest tax scammers in Scottish football. It was an open secret as well, like many other things, that they used to keep ticket money in biscuit tins, and directors would sneak the money out on Saturday evening to avoid declaring it to the Inland Revenue. The mentally challenge's own admission, it was often said that their crowds were understated. Not only did this cheat HMRC out of revenue, it deprived member clubs out of their proper half share of the gate money back in the day as well. Celtic also bought Lennox Town through fraud and paying people off and setting up fake charities to claim the money back. They are a club like no other. A spokeswoman for Celtic said the club wouldn't be commenting on club figures linked to film schemes. Sweep.